And good morning to you on this Thursday. A little chilly out there. I at least put on a scarf. And the mayor, he can run it in here like it's like springtime or something like that. What's up with that?
I'm dressed like my pastor.
No, he got look behind him. He has stuff.
He got a coat.
He got a coat. But I'm saying, look. Yeah, look, the old folks you say that coat will get in your bones. You gonna pay for that later on. But anyway, look, we have Honorable Mayor Mitch Colvin. He's in with us on today, and the good news is we've established a date, so he's gonna be in every third Thursday, barring any kind of holiday or anything else like that. His pastor's over there applauding. So he already has a cheerleading squad here. You know what I'm saying? As we move forward past the day, he's going to be taking calls from you. So he wants to hear from you. A great opportunity for us to interact with him and for him to interact with you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How you doing? Happy birthday to Dr. King. Yesterday was my mama's birthday. So
oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Your mom born the same day with Dr. King.
The day before. Yeah.
Okay. The 14th.
Yeah, 14th. Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, mom's happy birthday. I know your mom well. Yeah. When you was like a little fella. Come by with Sergeant Edgar married.
Sonny boy.
Yeah. Really. Anyway, glad to have you in. Know you got to leave a little bit early on today. Yeah. Want to chat with you about a couple of things. There's a couple of things that pop up in my mind that are in the news. Let's deal with, first of all, the dinner meeting. Yeah. Some people are alleging that there's a violation here of transparency as well as access to the press. I don't necessarily see it like that. However, you know, what's your version of how this evolved, where we are now, and what do you think we're going in the future regarding this one matter? And just explain to people what this is, because somebody may have not heard about it.
Right. So well before I got there, I think it was established under the maybe Shivani administration.
Shivani, right.
They started having a dinner meeting, which is a meeting where city council will eat. They'll talk about the things that are on the upcoming meeting. They'll get any specific answers to questions they have from staff, from each other, and they'll talk through issues so that when they get downstairs, they don't necessarily have to do that. What I understand the thought behind that was that it would reduce some of the time at the meeting downstairs that it took for people who may didn't understand an issue or to go in depth on every issue. In addition to that, under Shivani, they also established work sessions where you go in a week before the actual meeting and lay that stuff out. So you have multiple times that council can discuss it or ask multiple questions, because if 10 people on the dais had questions about every item and they were given 5 or 10 minutes for 2 or 3 rounds, I mean, you would never get anything done. So that was the thought behind it. We've done it the same way during Nat's administration all the way up till presently. It's upstairs. We've had press in there sometimes, and sometimes we don't, but it's announced as an official meeting. It doesn't have an agenda, and I think that's what the sticking point was before, that we usually talk about the agenda that's downstairs. So when we've made decisions before to say, hey, you know, we'll get a consultant in on this day or another, and the manager will get consensus based on what we're saying, since it is a meeting, and he'll do what we said. And so the rub came in when the schedule was changed on the work session when it was the day before the election. And so the School of Government basically said, this is a legal meeting if you've announced it, which any legal meeting the public has access to, which they do. City Hall, if it's open, the public has access. They may have to come through a security mechanism, just like we talked about today, that you have to secure the premises. There's an elevator in case you don't want to take the stairs, but you have access to get upstairs to the meeting because the press does. Now, it's limited room and space, but they basically said if you don't have an agenda, then technically it's kind of whatever the flow of the meeting is, okay? And so that was the final ruling. So some people agree to disagree. You know, it doesn't really matter to me. I think we have to eat. Sometimes these meetings are 4 or 5 hours long, and so it's at the end of the day. You know, council and staff are volunteering their time, so it's really a time to do that in the fellowship and to understand, you know, exactly there may be some more explanation needed that on an item that sometimes council members will say, hey, I don't understand this part of that. and the staff will say, well, this is what we meant, or this is the intent, and they say, okay, I'm good, and the item goes downstairs with no issue. And we make it very, most of the council members make a strong effort to explain things that we know the general public need to know or hear. And we may say, hey, you know, it may be a rhetorical question. You know, you just answered this 30 minutes ago upstairs in the dinner meeting, but please tell us, for the listening audience, you know, why we're doing this, or what the staff's recommendation is on something.
Right. So the city staff there, and of course all of the council members, unless they're excused, they're generally there as well.
Right. And they're not required to be there, because it requires you to be on site an hour before the meeting starts. So, you know.
Right. So I'm saying, but anyway though, and for those who don't understand, the UNC Institute of Government, they kind of like give the laws or the statutes that you guys would go by in order to conduct yourselves as governmental officials.
Right. And so anytime we've got a question, a legal question or ethical question, we'll refer to the School of Government. The School of Government said this is a legal meeting, just, you know, have to do the things that legal meetings do, give the public access, give them notice. And we've been doing all of that. So I'm not sure, you know,
so
the angst.
I heard that, because I haven't been in one of those, I've heard that you got probably room for about like 6 people, maybe?
No, So the conference table holds about 20.
No, I'm not talking about you guys, I'm talking about guests.
Yeah, and then along the whole row are chairs, so it may be 12 seats or so.
Okay.
And then you have standing room, and then the doors are open, so you have the foyer area that leads to that.
Right.
And Andrew Barksdale used to come to these meetings. That's how long ago it was.
Right. Okay. All right. And Andrew Barksdale now with the Department of Transportation,
used to be with Federal Observer a long time.
He was a long time political. With the Federal Observer. Yeah, but you know, I just, because that was a rub with some people that, in some way, that you guys were trying to discuss things, and that it was nefarious even for you to do that, and then you come out before the public when you're on the diocese and hey, you know.
Well, this is the other thing, Troy. Sometimes when council members are debating, they get a little bit more leeway in a dinner meeting than they do downstairs. Okay. And so we want to maintain decorum downstairs. And so if they're going to have an issue, you know, the dinner meeting is kind of where it's flushed out sometimes. Now, sometimes it takes place downstairs, but there is, you have too many professional staff members who are not going to jeopardize their jobs and careers and reputation. You have council members who the public trusts for that. So, you know, I was on here before I got a text about it. It said the quote of the year, you know. I said the citizens are looking for results, not conspiracy theories. So you're always going to have people who, you know, they want to know where Jimmy Hoffa is. They want to know who shot JFK. So the city council must be up to something. So, but you're welcome to come. We live stream is more than any councils in the past for meetings. Everything's on YouTube and videoed, and so we'll be glad to share whatever we can.
For anybody that missed that, Jimmy Hoffa was a Teamster union boss that kind of got missing during the day. In the 60s, Robert F. Kennedy really had a rub with him. John F. Kennedy was the president, made his younger brother the attorney general, and so that's a lot of history into that. So the metaphor he used when you say Jimmy Hoffa, that's, I know.
So somebody said they saw him last week, you know.
Right,
so.
you don't know. Somebody probably didn't know what they meant, so I just kind of, oh, okay. Moving forward now, next question I have was what's going on with this whole protesting thing?
Yeah.
You know, and it's interesting because the whole issue with protesting now is in the forefront of America. You know, I grew up during the 60s, so I actually saw a lot of the Vietnam War stuff, a lot of that. I saw it firsthand. And now, you know, you got the ICE agents, and there's protests against them. But the ICE agents have been busy for quite some time. But of late, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on, particularly a young lady killed on last week. I did go myself personally and look up the general statute for Minnesota and how deadly force could be used, blah, 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 you know. But let's talk about the ordinance side of things here in Fayetteville, because I believe you guys are having some discussions about that. Some people want to have some discussions about that. Is that a result of something that they believe happened, or are they trying to kind of prevent something from
trying to prevent?
Okay,
you know?
okay.
And so I'm glad you brought that point up, that we had received several calls of situations to where some of these exchanges were getting heated. And so we don't want a situation like Minnesota to where someone's expressing themselves, there's some resistance to it, and then you end up, with someone loses their life behind an issue. So what we did was we wanted to look at what our protesting ordinances, what type of rules and regulations around it. I remember dealing with this during the George Floyd. I had worked with Attorney General Stein and Leslie Desmukes from his office, which was the assistant AG, I think, at the time. But they said you can regulate time, place, and location. You don't get into free speech. You can't violate anybody's right to do that. But you can say that you can't stand in the middle of Mercury Road at 12 noon with your signs, okay? And so we're just looking at it because we have a situation where, and I think there's a distinction between, the people who showed up who had a problem with it said, how are you going to tell me what's on my sign? That's not necessarily protesting, that's picketing, in my opinion.
It is.
And then protesting is, hey, Troy, you got on a blue jacket and I think you should have on a red jacket or whatever. And so I think that if you're going to do that to where the people who, you have the right to do it, but you can't infringe upon your rights with doing it to where you're trying to eat. There is no distance requirement between how close I can say what I'm saying. If I'm in the free side in the public space and you're eating on some of the outdoor dining areas and I'm 2 feet from you, at some point something may happen there. And so we wanted to look at that to say, hey, let's put a time, location, distance in between here. Put some rules around this to where everyone understands the expectations. If you're in an outdoor facility, downtown has protests depending on what's going on nationally or statewide from time to time, and you make a conscious decision between this time and that time, that they're allowed. But people should have the ability, and I think that the example that was brought back to us, it really wasn't clear because it had one definition for saying that you couldn't go within 10 feet, and then it had another definition that you couldn't go within 8 feet unless someone without their permission or consent to receive what you're saying. They took that from an abortion clinic case law, right? To where they've said that, you had to be so many feet from the building, but you couldn't block the entrance for 8 or 10 feet. So the attorney had to come back with more detail. Raleigh and some other areas did it. I don't think anybody's goal is to say what you can talk about. That doesn't matter, right. Whatever side of the issue you on. So that's the free speech to me isn't really a part of it. No one's trying to stifle what you say or tailor your message. There was some language in there about that. I don't support that. I support that if it should be at least 25 or 30 feet to where you don't feel threatened by me for whatever I have to say. You can still hear my point. I can still, express myself. And I shouldn't be able to do it anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There should be some guidance there. If you go to an ATM, I'm not allowed to come up to you and ask you for money. That's an ordinance that we have here because you may feel threatened by me doing that. Even though I got the right to ask whatever I want to, I can't infringe upon your rights of safety. So people should have quiet and enjoyment, with reason.
Right. Well, and I guess, too, you got to take into counter-protests as well. And so things can just get kind of crazy. Yeah. It's like we're in a protest mode now, and I would imagine, too, people going to people's homes and protesting them. I think that whether you agree or not, the whole masking of the ICE is about that because they don't want people. Because people now, they know who you are. They find out who you are. They ain't just coming after you. They bother your children, your spouses. It just. I don't think that all of that is underlined on the free speech for you to do all that. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It just didn't give you a blank check, and
And see, but see, now that they talk about Dr. King, because I was I was in the 8th grade when he was assassinated, but they ain't doing none of that. You see, the things they're doing now, and they want to look at Dr. King and others as a foundation for them to protest. They didn't protest in that manner. Okay, they walked and they marched.
Peaceful protest.
Right, and they weren't in people's grills like that and stuff like that, trying to make a point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's a lot. And, national issues, sometimes we have local advocates for national issues, and that trickles down. And so we want to provide a space that whether you're on one side of the issue or another, that if someone is down there, that they don't feel that their rights have been infringed on. And I just have to say it, man, I'll probably get in trouble about it. But I don't remember this the last 4 years before last January, all this back in the streets. Now, I remember it 4 years prior to that, but the pressure is high politically, that where people are, they're very passionate about it. You've got lawmakers that are being threatened. That's been a thing about all of your information being public online, where you live. Just like you said about the ICE guys, you look at who was that, Pelosi and her husband got attacked. The folks got killed in Minnesota. So you have some people who really take this stuff to the next level. So you got to be careful with that.
Going to a justice's home.
Yeah.
I mean, they. U.S. Justice, they find out where you live, they're doing that.
Yeah.
But I think, I won't get into my reasons, but I think there's a reason why it's happening now and it didn't happen before, because there's a side of people that's willing to operate that way.
Yeah.
And other people, they don't operate like that. They're not out here in your face like that. But again, this is America, and so folk can kind of sort of do what they want to do. You know what I mean? But again, Fayetteville, we going back to the George Floyd stuff.
Yeah.
Since that time, we haven't had anything of that serious of a nature.
Thankfully, and it's been groups for different things. No King's Day. It's been different protests, Back to Blue, and things that we were kind of watching that were a little tricky. And people behaved themselves and it went well. We just want to make sure that we prevent anything from popping up.
Sure, and the interaction of law enforcement with these groups, that's a big deal too. But now I would imagine if you are going to have a peaceful protest, even if you're going to be doing something, isn't there a permit process that you should have if you're going to have all these folk doing whatever they're doing?
And that was a part of what we're reviewing too, that if you're going to have a protest, you're bringing the public in, traffic is going to be impeded. There's things the city needs to know and we need to do to plan for that. And so there's a permit process, so it's not made to hinder your right to do it, but it's just responsibility. If you want to have an event outside, there's a coordinated process you use. So we're looking at all of that. I don't think that certainly when this ordinance was passed, we were not or couldn't foresee that the environment that we're in now. And so, you have to make adjustments for the current situation.
Sure. Well, look, we're going to go to a break, come back. I know you got to leave a little early, take a little short break, come back, and then you can chat with us about what you believe is going on that you feel like that we need to know at City Hall. So, look, we'll be right back with the mayor, Ms. Colvin, on 1600 AM 99.7. We'll be right back.
Remember the rotary phone? Well, soon that's what people are going to ask about gas-powered cars. And every day we see videos of robots becoming more and more like us. Welcome to the future. At Fayetteville State University, we believe that anything really can happen. So wherever it is that you want to go, we've got a program for that. Visit Fayetteville State University and find out how we're preparing students just like you for what comes next. Fayetteville State University. Are you in?
Are you looking for an opportunity to serve the community? Become a part of the decision-making in the City of Fayetteville government and apply to fill an upcoming vacancy on our boards and commissions. You can apply now through January 31st by visiting fayetteville.nc.gov/boards. Click on the red Apply button found in the middle of the page. Boards and commissions are a great way for residents to engage in their community and help build a greater Fayetteville.
North Carolina's Department of Transportation crews have been preparing the roads for freezing temperatures and inclement weather. It's been snowing in the mountains of North Carolina overnight and is bitterly cold. Meanwhile, another cold front likely coming in Saturday after the front moves through. Models are showing an area of low pressure developing off the coast of North Carolina that may bring some snow to eastern and also central North Carolina. Hundreds gathered for vigils across the state on Wednesday to remember a Minneapolis woman killed by an ICE agent last week. 4 space station crew members are back on Earth after a medical issue cut their mission short. They all appeared healthy and waved as they were helped out of their capsule. The state health department is strongly encouraging folks to get flu vaccine, warning that while flu cases could be peaking right now, there could be a second peak later in the season. And Verizon customers had a problem on Wednesday with their phones. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. As of December 1st, 2025, window tint is no longer checked during safety inspections, but tint laws still apply. They must be 35% or lighter. They can be tested by law enforcement. If it is darker than 35%, a citation is possible. For the windshield, tint is only allowed along the top of the windshield. It cannot extend more than 5 inches down from the top or below the AS1 line, whichever is longer. Anything below that is not legal. Cumberland County has promoted Rayshonia Manuel to Director of Community Development, recognizing her extensive experience in public sector finance, compliance, and community-focused program administration. Manuel has more than 20 years of experience supporting local government operations and most recently served as finance accountant for the county's Financial Services Department. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
We start your Thursday with temperatures in the upper teens to around 30 degrees and mostly clear skies. We'll have lots of sunshine for your Thursday afternoon, but it will stay cold with highs only reaching the upper 30s to around 40, and we'll have breezy conditions. Then clear skies overnight into Friday morning. We'll drop to around 20 to start the day on Friday. Then lots of sunshine for your Friday afternoon. Highs a bit warmer reaching the mid-40s. For the North Carolina News Network, I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the Weather Center.
And we're back. The mayor will be with us about 15 minutes before he leaves, has another meeting. Sometimes things are not legislative related necessarily, but being the face of Fayetteville, you encounter stuff, and when stuff happens, your phone rings.
Yeah.
Even though, you really had nothing to do with it.
Right.
But when the name Fayetteville is attached to it, stuff happens. Because you had nothing to do with this, I'm sure. But I just like, right now, the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade that traditionally would be occurring on Saturday is not occurring.
Yeah.
And I can imagine your phone is ringing.
Yeah, phones ringing, emails, nasties, not nasties. So, comes with the territory. But
are they blaming you?
Well, they always get blamed, and then they'll unpack it
for that.
Yeah, for everything. My mail was late. The mail ain't running the city right. But that's concerning for sure. It's a long-standing tradition. It's celebrating Dr. King on his day. It is disappointing to see that. The things that I've read about it are even more disappointing. So, hopefully the committee will get their footing under them. I am sending a letter to Mr. Ford. Councilmember Hare had met with the group. Understand that he was not able to be there in person. He zoomed in. We sent a letter to him to kind of reemphasize the fact that the $2 million that the city's contributing to this project is going to have contingencies upon it, that there'll be a full transparent accountability of the $2.5 million that the state gave them about 3 years ago, that the governance structure is understood of this committee, to who's in charge and who we're releasing money to, or who we're building this for the benefit of, because the city, I think, has an arrangement to interlocal agreement, certainly with the county, that will build the modifications to the park, and the county will reimburse with the $2.5 million they promised them but you don't want to start a $7 or $8 million project. It was $7 million 3 years ago, so
Right.
I'm sure that's not the number. But you don't want to start a $8 or $10 million project with $4.5 million, and you're thinking somebody has 2.5 and they only have 1. And so we don't want to get caught with that, because the minute the city steps up and puts a shovel in the ground, and it's going to become a city issue. And so we want to talk to Mr. Ford and find out exactly what's going on with the committee. The parade notwithstanding.
Just what I'm saying, because that's actually what you talking about is the construction project.
Yeah, we're talking about the park. Yeah,
the park,
yeah.
which is actually different from
The parade. Yeah, and I don't
parade-
understand their governance structure like we said.
but
yeah, two different things.
two different things, but still
Yeah.
the optics.
Yeah, yeah.
are not good.
Yeah, they've had a tough couple of days, but organizations do that. You and I were talking offline.
Right.
Dogwood Festival folks were in the paper, and so it doesn't need to be a black thing or our thing, but it doesn't look good. So,
Right, certainly, yeah. Did they get that stuff worked out with Dogwood?
as far as I know,
Yeah, okay,
you
right.
know, hey, they've had their trials and tribulations, but
Right.
what we can't do is, I'm sure that other people would step up, like the brunch that we were talking about. It sold out, the Martin Luther King brunch, done by a completely different group of people on Martin Luther King Day in memory of Martin Luther King. And so they've done that successful for years. I think it's the Ministerial Council.
Yeah, it is. I remember the very first
Yeah.
one going back with John Johnson.
Oh, yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, Reverend John Johnson.
Yeah.
I went to the very first one they had.
Yeah, and
right.
so now all these years later, it's thousands of people to go into the breakfast every once a year. Maybe another organization steps up and says that they want to have a parade in memory of Dr. King. So it's not necessarily to me, just because this organization didn't have the organization or some of the people left, from what I understand, who normally handled that. But you just got to communicate that. And we were caught off guard a little bit by the whole security threat piece, that we didn't really understand where that came from.
Right. Was that word used, security threat?
I
think-
security concern. I don't want to misquote him.
Right,
but
right. It was some word used.
something that implied that there was an imminent danger, and so of course we wanted to talk to the chief and find out if he had heard anything. But
Right, because I didn't know what it meant, something health related,
it could be.
because, been
because
something
the
going
flu?
around, but
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. I mean, however.
Okay, well, that's a possibility.
A few sick folks. I didn't know whether it was related to physical threat or that they thought everybody getting together, that people standing around, they might catch something.
Yeah, well, it's flu season. so I
Yeah, it's
don't-
flu season, and people are dying from the flu, So I don't know what it meant, but I'm not, wouldn't be nice for me to put words in anybody's mouth in regard to this. However, we are here now.
Oh, yeah.
So
So we look forward to them working through this and getting back on solid footing with that committee.
well, I did see this thing though in the paper about an African American museum. Explain that. What's that all about?
So our economic development, Robert Van Gens had brought these folks to us. Mr. Fleshman and the Fleshman family. I understand he was a professor at Duke or Chapel Hill, and some folks he had. And one of the things that he desired in his will was that there be a museum here. He was donating land that he had downtown to highlight African American history in this community. And so they came in with the idea a few years ago. The city gave them $450,000, the county gave them $450,000 to plan, and they came back with a budget, some concepts, and a fundraising goal. And so this is similar steps we took with the Civil War History Center. That had been going on years before I had to make a vote on it. They came in and they got seed money from the city and the county. And then they went and took that seed money and they leveraged it with the state and got seed money. And then they brought the state's commitment back to the city and asked for $7.5 million from the city, $7.5 million from the county, and then the state, the contingency was the state would give them $60 million. And of course that turned into almost $100 million investment, mostly carried by the state, but still looking for the $7.5 million from the city and the county. And if you put a inflation index on that since 2015 when the city did it, that would have been like a $10.5 million donation today. So when the History Museum came in and presented and said, hey, the Cadillac version of what we're talking about is, $180 million. That's a lot of money. Probably can't be afforded, certainly on the backs of taxpayers.
Correct.
But maybe you scale that down. Maybe you start this long road of fundraising like everyone else does with a commitment by the local government. Do it in the same vein that we talked about, that we want to make sure that the story is told at the Market House, so let's invest money in that. We want to make sure the story is told at the History Center, which is now probably a $100 million project. So we cannot not tell the story about African Americans in this community and all they've contributed and the role that they played. And so I understand there are some nonprofits and some philanthropy organizations that want to invest in this. I think the city is prudent for us to maybe see if we can invest to get it to the next level so that they can go and leverage other funds. This is probably not the environment that the state or the federal are going to do it, since they're really going in the other direction on African American and minority history stories. But I think bringing private sector in, the possibility of a hotel operator and this be a driver that complements that could leverage some private dollars.
Sure. Well, I think that's what people are looking for. Reasonable-minded people are looking for public-private partnerships. Yeah. And like you said, you don't want to saddle these projects just on the backs of the regular citizens, when we got a lot of other stuff need to be fixed in our town. You know what I mean? And I'm sure when you come back, we talk about stormwater. Yeah. You guys don't run the schools, but still, everybody plays a part in trying to make all this stuff nice stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that is important. Before you go, though, but look, so, as an investigative reporter, I hear stuff, so I'm saying. So I heard you down there throwing shade on the Philadelphia guys, on DJ Hare and the mayor pro tem. Now, you won't down there.
Well, listen.
I know you couldn't have been doing that. Being a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm just asking.
In all fairness, okay,
all right.
The mayor pro tem, I like him. But when Philly's flying high, he comes to the council meetings with a green suit.
Oh,
okay.
I like that.
Now, that just takes it to a whole new level. So I had to say something to him.
Okay.
When the Birds didn't make it, I had to say something. And then, of course, DJ wanted to get a little bit of it, so I had to give it to him. But we are both now relaxing on the beach somewhere, watching football by people who really came to play this year.
Okay.
Including the Oakland Raiders. Or are they LA Raiders? Or are they Las Vegas Raiders?
Okay.
I'm sorry. I get confused.
You don't need look. Don't be confused by the Raiders. Just leave us alone. Okay. There's not many of us. Okay.
You're right.
But understand. But we're bad. You know what I'm saying? And you understand.
Bad meaning bad, or bad meaning
that's
good?
Right. We beat people up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, you got to do it.
Okay.
Study our history. You know what I'm saying? And you'll see why I'm a Raider fan. Okay. I'm a Raider fan. Okay.
All right. I take that.
All those rules.
Yeah.
Where you can't hit people and everything now, right now.
Yeah.
It's called the Raiders. Okay.
Okay.
It's how I say it.
Al Davis.
Yeah. Well, no, don't talk about the guys on the field.
That's it right there, Pastor.
Atkinson. Okay. All right. His pastor is holding up a Dallas Cowboy toe bag. Okay. Now he's gonna have something on with Dallas every day. You know what I mean?
I like that.
I don't know if he's like Michael Jordan wearing shorts beneath his pants that has Carolina on them. You know what I mean? But I heard about that. But I said, man, how could you all allow him, a Dallas Cowboy fan, who matter of fact, did you know this now? This for real. Every NFC team has been in the NFC Championship except Dallas in the last 30 years. I just saw that statistic.
Well, I need to fact check that.
Fact check that.
30 years. But I mean, when we go to the NFC Championship, we go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know.
So
but you don't go to the NFC Championship. That's the whole thing.
Okay. So, but when we go, we win.
I mean, look now, y'all call yourself America's team and all that other stuff, which I don't understand. You know what I mean? You got. But before you leave, have you ever seen that Netflix thing on Jerry Jones?
Yeah.
So you did watch it?
I did. Yeah.
But that explains everything to me. I was trying to get Rev and all the rest of them to watch that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They need to go watch that. They need to see it.
Jerry's an interesting guy. So.
Yeah. Now here's
Smart.
But understand though, but he impacted football altogether.
Well,
You know?
I'm gonna say this, okay, and I got to go because now you're talking about my team. You're gonna mess up my thought process. But he has one of the best run businesses.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and so to him, it's performing. But to fans like me and Pastor Brinkley, we're waiting on the competitive piece to come back. So.
Right.
But I'll leave it at that. I'll leave you and your Raiders to that.
Okay.
And is it Las Vegas or Oakland or LA?
Like I said, we hurt people, okay? Just keep that in mind. Look, we got to get out here, guys.
I do want to congratulate the council. We had we had an opportunity to have our work session. We had the new council members in. We had a strategic planning pre-briefing to where these new members can find out the priorities of the city, make their adjustments to it so that we don't have a full reverse course and lose all that equity that we have in a lot of the priorities. But it was a great meeting yesterday, and look forward to working with them.
Well, thank you, sir. Well, look, got another meeting, but look, we're going to a break right quick, and we'll be right back and wrap things up. Again, the mayor will be coming on every third Thursday. Be taking your calls as well, and if you want to meet him outside, just messing with you. Just talk to you. Have a great one.
North Carolina's Department of Transportation crews have been preparing the roads for freezing temperatures and inclement weather. It's been snowing in the mountains of North Carolina overnight and is bitterly cold. Meanwhile, another cold front likely coming in Saturday after the front moves through. Models are showing an area of low pressure developing off the coast of North Carolina that may bring some snow to eastern and also central North Carolina. Hundreds gathered for vigils across the state on Wednesday to remember a Minneapolis woman killed by an ICE agent last week. 4 space station crew members are back on Earth after a medical issue cut their mission short. They all appeared healthy and waved as they were helped out of their capsule. The state health department is strongly encouraging folks to get flu vaccine, warning that while flu cases could be peaking right now, there could be a second peak later in the season. And Verizon customers had a problem on Wednesday with their phones. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
With a cold front passing through the area this morning, we'll see more sunshine and drier conditions, but it will be very cold with breezy conditions throughout the day. It will be even colder into our Friday morning. Mostly clear to start the day with temperatures in the upper 20s to around 30 degrees. Then lots of sunshine this afternoon. Highs will reach the upper 30s to around 40 with breezy conditions. Then we'll drop to around 20 to start the day on Friday with highs Friday in the mid-40s. For the North Carolina News Network, I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the Weather Center.
As the health director in Haywood County and a nurse here in North Carolina, I can tell you that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline saves lives.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available.
988 Lifeline counselors are ready 24/7 to speak with you, help you cope, and get you connected to the support that is right for you.
988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Now, all across North Carolina, it's Carolina Newsmakers. Each week, leaders from politics, education, business, and the arts join Don Curtis to share insights and ideas shaping our state. Hear interviews that go beyond the headlines with guests who know North Carolina best. Listen on the radio stations throughout North Carolina and on demand at carolinanewsmakers.com.
Cumberland County is excited to celebrate Bordeaux Community Library's 40th anniversary throughout the month of January. The library celebrates their 40th year with Make It 80s. It's a month-long series of 80s-themed programs. Join the celebration with programs like movie screenings, cooking activities, crafts, and other family-friendly events. For more info, call 910-438-7727 or social media by searching at Cumberland County Public Library.
This Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. tribute is brought to you by the members of Lou Chapel Holiness Church No. 1 in Spring Lake and Lou Chapel Holiness Church No. 2 in Dunn.
Every now and then I wonder what I want them to say. Tell them not to mention that I have a Nobel Peace Prize. That isn't important. Tell them not to mention that I have 300 or 400 other awards. That's not important. Tell them not to mention where I went to school. I'd like somebody to mention that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to give his life serving others. I'd like for somebody to say that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to love somebody. I want you to say that day that I tried to be right on the war question.
This Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. tribute was brought to you by the members of Lou Chapel Holiness Church No. 1 in Spring Lake and Lou Chapel Holiness Church No. 2 in Dunn, in remembrance of Pastor Burleen Kelly.
Hey, you looking for your next car? Start at Bryan Honda, 4104 Rayford Road in Fayetteville. At Bryan Honda, we make buying a car simple, stress-free, and affordable. Whether you're searching for a brand new Honda or a quality pre-owned vehicle, we've got a huge selection to fit every lifestyle and every budget. From fuel-efficient Civics and Accords to family-friendly CRVs and Pilots, Bryan Honda has the perfect vehicle waiting for you, and with our friendly, knowledgeable sales team, you'll never feel pressured. Need financing? No problem. Bryan Honda works with multiple lenders to get you approved fast with competitive rates that make sense for you. Plus, our certified service department is here long after the sale, keeping your Honda running strong for years to come. Drive smarter, drive happier, and drive home today from Bryan Honda, 4104 Rayford Road in Fayetteville, or you can visit online, bryanhonda.com. Your road starts here. Nobody beats a Bryan Honda deal. Not now, not ever.
And we're back down, getting ready to wrap up things for this hour here again. The third Thursday in each month, we're going to try to have the mayor on, and we should have some very robust discussions about a number of things that are going on in the community. I would agree with him, particularly at this time when people are doing a lot of protesting, that what we need to do is just look at what the rules are and ensure that, number one, don't want to stifle anyone's ability to peacefully protest. I just have a challenge when folk want to burn stuff, break stuff, and I'm all upset. Well, go home and break your own dishes. Don't try to hurt the rest of us. If we're going to model what we do in a manner that reflects what civil rights leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King and others did during that time, then we will not engage in that kind of behavior. I think that's important. And we need to recognize that. Because this whole notion of, well, I understand their anger. Well, I understand your anger too. But I don't want you destroying personal property and burning things down. A lot of other folk don't do that. And there's, because that is a violent act. Even if you don't hurt a person, burning something down, flipping cars, throwing firebombs, and all this other stuff, it's a violent act. And we need to move away from that. The mayor talked about it. He said, well, we don't have it unless, he said, we didn't have it 4 years ago because, look, now get mad if you want to. The people on the right don't do that. The conservatives don't respond in that manner. They ain't trying to burn something up or tear something down. You can highlight January 6th, But outside of that, just on a regular basis, that's not what they're trying to do. They're not trying to tear something up or burn something down. They're not. It's the left side. That's what they tend to do. And they're extremists in those areas about it, which even leads to like the death of the young lady. She was killed, but now understand her father, talking about her biological father, he is saying, look, it was bad, I lost my daughter, but he understands, and he's not blaming anybody. He's not blaming the process. If you go out here and you're going to confront federal officers that have guns and badges, it's going to be problematic. It's going to be problematic. I don't care how you fix it up, it's going to be problematic. You don't want to do that. You just don't want to do that. So, what we're going to have to do is just look at things through that kind of lens. And we hope and we pray that we can move away from some of this violence. But, it's violence with everything now. I mean, while I'm talking about this with some of my friends, I mean, look, these kids are violent now. I mean, you hear about kids assaulting their parents, their guardians, and their grandparents simply because of what I might call just stupid stuff. A situation where you have a youngster is saying, you tell them, well, you can't use your phone anymore, or you can't play with your PlayStation anymore. And what do? They come after you and assault you and kill you. We're talking about family members are being killed because the kids said, well, they took my phone away from me, and I didn't like that. So the response is to do something violent. We're just going to have to get away from that kind of thing. I mean, there's something wrong with all of us. Reb, I was talking about, look now, I mean, because, you follow the news, you take your cell phone from your kid, and the child is so angry about that, you wind up losing your life. I mean, make it make sense, man. I mean, come on. So, this world we're living in, and the thing about it is, look, Satan knows what he's doing now. Trust me. If you attach the family, then you affect all these other institutions as well. If he could tear the family up, and he's doing a pretty good job of that, you know what I mean? So right now, as we speak, as soon as sometime this morning, the U.S. Supreme Court will go back into session. They've been in session for the last couple of days. The discussion has been about whether or not these people that were born as males can declare themselves to be something else and compete with women in sports. There's a reason why you have the WNBA and the NBA, okay? Now look, make it make sense. I mean, can you imagine how many points Michael Jordan would have scored if he'd been playing against women? Or LeBron James? Man, they've been scoring 200 points a game. I mean, really, nothing against the women, but it's just that the competitiveness, because I think for the longest time, women couldn't dunk a basketball. I don't know if they're dunking in the WNBA now or not, but I know for the longest time, there was no dunking in the WNBA, So, but this was going on in the Supreme Court. So you have the ACLU lawyer and other people up there. They're having a discussion whether or not these people who are actual men, you can call them what you want to call them, but they're men, that want to compete in sports with females. And so one of the justices asked this person, is there a difference between a man and a woman? They were like, they're acting like they're dumbfounded. Like, well, I can't really answer that. Like, that's a volatile question. That's a political question. So we're so messed up now that we can't call a man and a woman a woman, that we don't even want to have that discussion, that is politically volatile, to ask somebody that question? I mean, really, I just make it make sense. That's what I'm talking about. See, that's the kind of stuff that we have got to do a better job. Because when we involve ourselves and engage with ourselves with that kind of stuff, whew, man. And these kids see this stuff. You know what I mean? And now you telling somebody that whatever they feel like they are, that's what they are. That's what they say. That's what they say, Rev. So, I had my DNA tested. My daughter gave me one of those. So I'm 51% Nigerian. So look, I'm not an African American. I'm Nigerian. Okay? Just understand that. Look, I'm not one of y'all. I'm Nigerian. That's what's in my mind. If all it takes is for me to say I'm something and believe it, that's what I am. All right? So, not only that, hey, look, what else can I say I am? Let's say I think I'm Chinese. I think I'm Asian. I mean, look, it's ridiculous. But again, this is where we are in America. I've enjoyed you guys today. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. It's going to be a little cool out there. Thank you, Reverend Carl Brinkley, being our producer on the day. Look forward to having the mayor back again next month. And again, we're going to be opening the phone lines for you to ask him questions as well. Again, though, enjoyed him on today. And you have a great rest of your day. They talk like we might get some precipitation this weekend. And it might be freezing and falling and looking white and all this other stuff. I hope not. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Thank you for tuning in to 1600 AM 99.7, your station for inspiration and information, the Widu Radio Network.